What's going on, everybody? Hope you are doing good and hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we go, please hit subscribe. Please share the episodes if you love them, and go check out some old ones. We've got some really good guests. Pretty proud of it. So we are going. We've got a lot of episodes going. So you can fully dig deep into this podcast now, which I'm proud of. And thank you for everybody that's listened. It means the world. Podcast time. And this one is going to be a good one for you. Mochakk, he Brazilian DJ producer. Been doing it a very long time. However, not so long ago, things took a turn for him and he blew the hell up. On TikTok, and then he blew the hell up on Instagram. I'm pretty sure if you listen to this podcast, you've probably heard of Mochakk. And his music is amazing, and just how he holds himself as a DJ is always been really well and really authentic to him. I spoke to him briefly on text over the last 6 months. But this was the first time I got to sit down with him and have a really good conversation. And it was a conversation that I wasn't expecting. It was a really good conversation. So I'm just going to leave it there and let you guys listen. So without further ado, Mochakk. What's cooking, Mochakk?
Yo, how you doing, man? Big pleasure to talk with you.
Likewise. Can I call you Pedro? That's your real name,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Yeah, sick.
Pedro.
How are you, man?
I'm good. A little bit tired.
End
of the year was a little hectic. Yeah.
I can imagine. Where are you right now?
I'm in São Paulo, the place where I live.
Yeah.
I'm actually at one of my partner's house.
Cool.
We were doing a meeting earlier, then we went out to lunch and to meet some other guys, and then got back to the headquarters to finish it off afterwards.
Sick, man. You're from Brazil, right?
Yeah.
I know nothing about you, so I'm just gonna ask a load of random questions, and we'll probably just start moving into the conversations. But yeah, whereabouts in Brazil are you from?
I'm from Sorocaba. It's a city kind of like countryside, a little bit more inwards from São Paulo, 1 hour and a half. It's not that far. But I live in São Paulo for the last 6 or 7 years already.
Yeah.
I moved here to college and stuff.
Oh, cool. How's your English so good?
YouTube. Because I grew up watching YouTube, everything on YouTube.
Yeah.
All types of content, and it was mostly in English.
Yeah.
So I just YouTube and music from trying to sing the songs that I liked.
I guess so. Yeah, because you're super into hip hop, I take it, from what I gather, and most hip hop that you're referencing is classic 90s, early 2000s hip hop, right?
Yeah, that's what hits me more. The boom bap, the samples, the soul stuff.
Dude,
it has a little bit more jazz than nowadays.
Oh, dude, I get it, man.
That grabs me too much.
I listen to quite a lot of hip hop, but I guess I'm a fan of hip hop, but I'm not really a digger of hip hop. I don't know the real underground old hip hop stuff. I know the classic stuff, but I love it. But the new hip hop, I live in Detroit, and one of my best mates, he owns a hip hop club out here. And I don't know if you've been to Detroit, but it's
once for an after party of Movement.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It's super fun.
So it's an interesting city. It's but hip hop's a huge scene here. But the new hip hop that they're playing in these clubs, I'm just I sound like an old man, but I just can't get with it. I'd much rather listen to the old shit because for me, it has so much more soul.
For me too, but actually a curiosity is I've been going towards the scene in Brazil about hip hop, and there's a thing that they're calling a Detroit beat now. and it's like more modern, a little bit different from the previous like styles of trap that were more like hyped up, and now it's like a kind of a different groove. The rhythmics are a little bit different, and like they're calling it a Detroit beat now, and it's like going everywhere. Like all the guys are trying to do Detroit beats now.
It's really it's the thing I like about hip hop is that it has so many, like, obviously house and electronic music has loads of like unique genres, but like it, like with hip hop you seem to have these like really, like, something happens, like a sound happens and then it gets super popular and then it like evolves very, very quickly. Like trap didn't last that long in the grand scheme of things, right? If we compare it to like house, techno, tech house, like in the like even dubstep lasted longer than trap. So it's like you like what you said with like this Detroit beat. It's like it's a cool little. It just depends who's popping off at that time and who's popular in that. See, he like
did something that challenged a little bit of what was already sounding good at the time.
Exactly,
like, that broke the bubble, and then it becomes like the new thing, the new name.
And it's like that kid, that the dude that's doing it has his like 5 minutes of fame, like makes a shit ton of money, and then is like on to the next. And that, I guess that's just how that scene is. But yeah, for me, like I listen to a lot of Action Bronson at the moment, like because he's still like it's modern, but he's just recreating classic 90s Brooklyn hip hop
stuff that feels like from that era. I like Joey Badass as well a lot because of that. Like it brings that shit back. I started producing hip hop before I did house.
Really, I was gonna ask you.
Producing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if something kind of it feels really authentic for you. Like it's very easy for any of us to put like a classic hip hop record on a tech house beat, right? It's very easy. It's been done millions of times, and
because both aesthetic movements like kind of work together. Like, you have so many fusions of it already. Totally. Like even in the more underground side of things, like there's been like a talk about hip house a big time ago.
Yeah, man, look at
it was always flirting and
yeah, like look at Ghetto House. Look at like what DJ Dion used to do.
Yeah,
like all of those kind of cats from Chicago. It was like rap, and it was part of the culture. It still is, obviously. And it was just I had Gene Ferris on the call on the podcast like very, very early on, and I spoke to him about it because obviously he's from Chicago, and I was like, what is it like? Obviously, this is like massively shortening down his answer, but it was like house was huge, obviously in the gay scene and in the black gay scene, and then all of a sudden hip hop came out, and people could realize they could make a fuck ton more money out of hip hop than they could playing in an underground club in Chicago. So it kind of like that's kind of where a lot of the electronic music kind of went to hip hop. So it's like a lot of those cats were doing electronic music before they were doing hip hop, or they were kind of growing up around electronic music, and then they were bringing in it. So it's really interesting. But it's like with you, it just feels really.
If you think about it, it even works like in the same like scheme. For example, if you think about like the members of the culture of hip hop, like the MC, the DJ, the breakdancer, and the graffiti artist, those like four elements. You could do the same parallel with house and techno. Like for example, the DJ is there.
Yeah.
The MC is kind of still there in some occasions.
Yeah.
We have the house dance scene, which like and whacking and Vogue stuff, which would work as the breakdancer pillar.
Yeah.
And as the visual art, like that would be graffiti in hip hop. You would have like drag.
Yeah.
In house culture, like
100%.
It still has the four same pillars. So it works the same way as hip hop does.
Have you seen the documentary Paris is Burning?
Paris is Burning. I don't think so. Not that one.
I'm gonna send it to you. Text me after, and I'll remind you. I'll send it to you.
All right.
It's based on the whole voguing culture of New York, back in the
Oh,
in
nice.
the early 80s, 90s is unbelievable. Like, and yeah, the scenes kind of collide together. Is there any of that in Brazil? Like, is like was hip hop a thing in Brazil growing up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually used to dance, I used to break dance and I used to do freestyle hip hop classes as well.
makes
We used to
sense.
go to championships
Mm,
and camps and stuff. And that's where I got in contact with house dance the first time,
mm,
like competition and like house dance, the genre of
yeah,
when that they do in competition is usually more into Afro house beats, like Black Coffee
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
like but the old school Black
yeah,
Coffee
yeah.
stuff. And yeah, that's what and the crews were very like you would have that collective feeling of like going to the camp, like waiting for your time to
Yeah.
perform, like being in that group, like the competition thing, like talking shit about the other group and
Yep.
being like, yeah, we're gonna wipe them out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like battles and stuff. So and it was really big. There's a big festival in Brazil, in Joinville in the south,
Mm,
which is they like dance culture is really big in Brazil. That's
yeah,
the thing.
huge.
And as I was in hip hop dance,
Mm,
that's where I got in contact, with the culture more.
yeah.
And like there's this festival, like it's the only city where they have a Bolshoi, that Russian school of ballet, like
Really,
outside of Russia. It's in that city in Brazil. I think so.
really.
I think it's something like that. Yeah, it's really crazy about dance. And yeah, because of the dance culture, like variety and the
Mm,
size of the culture in Brazil, hip hop culture,
it's huge.
is really big, because that's the main thing that people go to classes nowadays to for dancing and
Yeah.
stuff. And
It's really interesting you say the Russia thing. I was listening to a podcast the other day with Joe Rogan and John Berthenau. I can never pronounce his name. He's an actor. Do you know him? He's an actor. Um,
uh,
I'll show you a picture.
maybe
I'll
the
show you a
name is a
picture.
little bit familiar, but I can't remember his face. Yeah,
He
if
was
I see a
in,
picture, I think I'll
yeah,
remember.
John. I'm probably also not this guy.
Maybe, yeah.
He was in
I
like
don't.
The Walking Dead. He was
Oh, yeah. When it
he
focused, I got to.
Yeah,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
uh-huh.
He was in what did he do? Yeah. Anyway, he went to when he was a kid. He went to Russia to study acting. I didn't know this,
Hmm.
but he went to this school that was like really strict acting school, and in the acting school, you had to learn ballet, and
Yeah,
it was like really strict ballet, like and. It wasn't just acting; it was you had to do everything.
and ballet is really physical. It's
Dude.
really physical.
Like can you do it? Did you ever train in ballet?
Ballet,
No,
nah.
no.
My legs are crooked to the inside. It was always like a pain for me to do some stuff with the feet.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. There's like for me growing up, like it or not growing up when I was younger, like me thinking, but looking back, something there was like two things I wish I did, and it was like acrobatics, and like ballet, just purely because
Hmm.
like I know people that do it now and they're just like insanely fit, like on another level
Yeah.
of fitness. Yeah.
Insanely fit.
Just so
They're all
strong.
hard. Like they're not like big buff, but
No.
they're hard, like
Yeah. Just so
tight,
strong.
crazy.
Yeah. But I guess this is the
Super.
same with like breakdancers, right? Is they're
Yeah,
very strong
a
people.
bit.
Yeah. Just the
Even more
lifestyle
like
is
the
a bit
people that
different.
that, that are focused in power moves and stuff,
Mm,
which are the more crazy maneuvers.
yeah.
Like those guys can get really strong, like
Yeah.
in the arms
Yeah, I bet. I bet, man. I guess
and legs as well.
this like slides really nicely into how like theatrical you are on stage,
A bit,
right?
because and even with how like I listen to stuff, like I try to fish for those little moments,
Mm,
because if you would go to a freestyle hip hop battle, the thing is there will be a DJ playing random tunes that
yeah.
he's gonna pick, and you have like those little 10 seconds before you go in,
Yep.
to memorize the groove and memorize the elements.
Yeah.
And then like use those elements to do the moves with them. So you have to have like a fast memory to grab those elements and show them visually.
Yeah.
And it kind of works in the same dynamic. Like I want to show a little noise that the song has and show it visually so I can illustrate, because sometimes we put some stuff in this in the arrangement in like hidden places sometimes.
Totally.
And if people are not paying really that much attention to it, they're gonna miss the little element.
Yeah.
And like if you can show them visually, they're surely not gonna miss that.
Totally. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, in breakdowns and stuff, like where those little bell things sometimes, or
no,
like
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like there's like artists that are they move a lot on stage, and they're always kind of about it. Like classic is that Fisher. He's like a classic example, right? He's like fucking crazy. But there's a difference. Yeah, it's like so big, like always just giving it fucking welly. But like yours is like slightly more tasteful. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing on Fish. Like you're completely different artists, completely different people.
I think it's because like, you know when you're gonna show a song to someone and they start talking to you while you're showing them the song, and you kind of get like,
yeah,
wait, listen first, like let's talk a little bit later. I want you to listen to the song. I get like really in those moments. So that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to illustrate so they can pay attention to the song that I'm showing them while I'm playing. So it's like me just trying to call attention to the song.
So you're pretty much a
Fish is more about like I'm having a fucking great time in this shit. Like no, I also have a little bit of that. Like when the song explodes, and if the crowd is having fun, I'm surely gonna like too.
Totally.
But my stuff is more about like showing the little noises and stuff. You know, like
no, I like it. I really like it because it's like I've not really seen it before, and it's really interesting to watch on social media, to be like, this dude's kind of doing some cool shit that no one else is doing, which is dope to see. How was it growing up in Brazil?
It was good. It obviously is a different development of a country. Like there are some situations that you're not going to face if you live in a country where it's not that fucked up like here. You know, you see some fucked up shit growing up, and it kind of fucks you up a little bit too. But like,
how is
myself, I had like a good condition when I got to like 5th or 6th grade. My dad got promoted, like, and then we got into like a better condition. And when I was younger, I didn't understand much about like stuff. I was just playing and going to school and getting back from school. Totally. And no major like understanding about anything. And after that moment where it got kind of good, it kind of got fucked up again. And my family like got broke totally.
In what sense? What happened? If you want to talk about it, you don't have to talk about it.
Yeah. We used to have, my mother used to have a company. My mother worked with clothing. My mother was a stylist, but not a stylist that like chooses clothes for people. She was a designer stylist.
Cool.
It's because in Brazil we say stylist, but whatever. She used to draw clothes and design and stuff. And she used to work with children's clothing.
Okay.
The name of the brand was actually Peter Lou, because my name is Pedro Luis. And Pedro it's Peter, like kind of Peter Lou. The logo was like kind of me.
That's so cool.
And the company like got kind of a little bit of success in the first 5 years. Then like some crazy demands started happening that we couldn't get hold of. Like not we, because I was not involved. I was a kid only, but they couldn't get a hold of. And it started collapsing a little bit. And it fucked. Went bankrupt and stuff. And after that, my mom got back into doing like neighborhood stuff, clothing, you know,
Okay,
like
cool. Yeah,
clothes
yeah.
for people like
Yeah, yeah.
from around, for friends.
Yeah.
And then she was really good. So she started getting like, for example, dress opportunities for marriages and stuff. So that would give her a little bit more of a vitrine, you know,
Yeah.
a shopping window
Yep.
for other people to see those dresses and stuff. She started using a little bit of social media, started giving classes. So she kind of like got back into the basics. You know, Zima Blue, the
No. What
there's
is that?
Love Death Robots.
No.
It's like a Netflix series. It's an animation series. They do like
I,
each episode is a different story, kind of
okay.
Black Mirror style of arrangement, let's say.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's mainly it's based in animation. They have super realistic ones, illustrated ones, more cartoonish
I've
ones.
never seen
Super
this.
sick, and the themes are amazing.
I'll
And
check it.
there's this episode called Zima Blue,
Okay.
which is also the name of a track by Another, the duo
Yeah,
from
yeah. Yeah,
Amsterdam.
yeah.
And they have a track called Zima Blue as well. I think it's because of the same thing.
I'm
And
checking
it's
it
this
out now.
episode about like a guy that does big paintings. Can I give you a spoiler?
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that?
Go for it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He like there's this story about this artist called Zima that used to this guy.
Yeah.
That's Zima.
Okay.
And he used to do paintings of people.
Yeah.
And after a while, he started doing like a little rectangle of blue tint in every painting he did.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, what is this?
Yeah.
But there was something interesting about it, the tone of blue that he chose and stuff. And he started making those rectangles a little bit bigger each time until he got to the point where he's only doing paintings that were
blue.
a big blue rectangle. And then he got into doing big murals. And then the episode like unfolds and he's doing like murals on space, like painting whole planets blue and completely obsessed about the blue.
Yeah.
And then the narrator of the episode is a girl and she's a reporter. And now she has the opportunity to go do an interview with him.
Yeah.
And she goes to do the interview with him. He's like kind of like this humanoid robot cyborg type of guy. And he starts telling his story about like from where he got the blue idea. And long story short, I just don't go like too deep on it. He was a pool cleaning robot that got like upgraded by the family that owned him until he became a humanoid.
Yeah.
And then he started like doing paintings because he was like kind of a person only.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
So he started doing paintings, and the Zima blue, like the tone of blue that he would draw, was the same color of the tiles from the pool.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
So then that's when the interview ends, and when the episode ends, it's his final act as an artist. So he makes a big blue mural, giant mural, in like a big blue swimming pool at the center. And he appears, he jumps in the pool, and he starts to disintegrate back into the little robot.
Back into the robot.
To keep that's to cleaning the tiles of the pool.
So where does this
mom kind of went?
So where does this tie into your mom?
Yeah, my mom went kind of Zima Blue.
Yeah,
she had like the big company.
Yeah,
for a little bit, like she was getting the demand and the big opportunities and stuff. But then it all like collapsed down, and she got back into the basics of doing what she loved doing, and that was actually like what she figured out more at the end of her life, that what she loved was teaching.
Yeah.
So she started like doing classes for people in the neighborhood and in the city, like to teach them how to design and how to hand do stuff. I forgot
stuff.
the sewage. I forgot the word. So yeah. So she started giving classes with the machinery and stuff as well. And
it's amazing how it happens to a lot of people in their careers where they think they want to be the biggest and the best in everything, right? And make the most money. And then something fucks up, and then you start doing it again because you love it. And then you actually work out in your head, actually, I'm doing it because I love it, and it doesn't matter about. Obviously, there is a business side of things. You have to make money. We all have to make money, but there's
Totally.
also a level where it's like, I don't need to be earning all the money in the world to sustain this and enjoy my life.
I think when something fucks up and leads to that moment, it flips a switch, and like your mindset is changed into like not giving a fuck about having the most money anymore, and like I don't want to be the biggest fucking thing anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to do my stuff and do the stuff that I want to do and that I like to do, you know, like for example, I wanted to, like back when I was in 2018 gigging in Brazil only, I had totally different objectives about my career. I had totally different like references and the way I thought about references musically. And after the pandemic hit and we went into quarantine, like right when we got into quarantine, I went down into like a rabbit hole, like got really fucked up, got really depressive, really anxious. I was having like panic attacks daily. Like, yeah.
What was that?
It was tough.
What was bringing that on though?
My mother has just died and we hit a pandemic. My dad was not having good work, like not earning enough. My job was now like kind of over for an indeterminate period of time. I was helping a little bit with the balance at home. So it was a totally fucked up situation, snowball effect down.
Did you say your mother passed away?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah, I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It's kind of like after I like went through the period of like the grief and stuff, because that's the thing. I kind of like tried to go away from the grief in the beginning, because I was trying to wrap my head around the idea of how good it was for me to have the experience of living that person.
Totally. Yeah.
And like because okay, the rest is going to be ego, me wanting that person to be with me more time. You know, I already had the opportunity to experience all the good stuff that I experienced with that person.
Yeah.
So then I was trying to wrap my head around this idea and trying to be like, there's no real reason for me to like grieve for real about this. And I just got more anxious and more anxious and started getting more like depressed about my day-to-day stuff. And I didn't think it was anything to do with that. But after like it reached a point where I was like, oh, I can't take it anymore. I need to do something about it. I went to do therapy, like for real, intensive, like 2 times a week. Like, and after like I started it for a bit, I realized it was mostly because I didn't let myself understand that it sucks. Like I know like it has the positive, like, you can look through the positive view of it, but obviously it sucks. It's a difficult situation. You have to like be fair with yourself and like internalize that too.
100%. I think
like after.
Go on, carry on.
Yeah.
No, carry on. No, you go. You go.
And I think after like that was the moment where something fucked up for me, and it flipped a switch about like life and whatever and everything. And I just dived right into like
went to work.
Yeah, and not only into work, but into not giving any more fucks about like what the market is going to think about a tune that I'm making. Like I stuff that I like afterwards, obviously I think there's moments where you go into that mode and then you come back a little bit and you go into that mode again. Like in your career, there's moments where you kind of do those moves. But yeah, like it was a moment. If I grab the songs that I did in that period, they're probably the most experimental stuff that I made by far until now. Like I haven't released anything from the period that I was like totally bricked.
Yeah.
Only the stuff that was a little bit after, like the funk, the one that went out on Nervous, was right after. It was like me getting out of the hole, you know.
But I think sometimes that doesn't, on a philosophical. I can't even say the word. Philosophical. Yeah. Thanks for teaching me my own language. Jesus Christ. What sort out. On that point is like sometimes you have to make the music for yourself to get through. It is a part of therapy. It's like my parent, my mum is a therapist and so is my dad. So I grew up with therapy all my whole life, really. And there are certain things we have to do as people that we don't actually have to share with anybody else, but it just helps us get through to the next phase of that. And I think like in our careers in music, it's like sometimes you have to make a shit ton of music that you know isn't going to see the light of day, but it gets you from one point A to point B, and you have to get to point B, and there's a process of that. And I think especially when you're going through the loss of your mother, which I couldn't even imagine, because we all think our parents are superheroes and will last forever, right?
Totally.
And you're still young, so it's like you don't expect that's going to happen. So I can imagine like musically it's going to go a bit wild, but with it going wild, it allows you to just be completely yourself.
I made one of the some of the best tunes, heartfelt tunes that I've ever made during that period.
Yeah,
I think with music, not only music, obviously art in general, unfortunately it works like that.
Yeah,
if you get it through a hard moment, it will make your art better.
Yeah,
per se. You're gonna put more heart into that. You're gonna pour more into that.
Well, does it?
That makes a bit of a that's a bit of a therapy too, because then even you can acknowledge afterwards what a beautiful thing that you made while feeling that hard feeling that you were feeling when stuff happened. It's kind of a trophy from yourself to yourself.
100%.
For being through it.
Yeah, I think. Tell me if, because I've not experienced what you've been through, if you know what I mean. Like I've lost friends, but I've not lost family members. But I think when that happens, does the switch turn around in your head where it's like you actually realize the value of life, and that actually take worrying about what everybody else thinks of you externally means fuck all. It doesn't mean anything. No, everything is, when your world comes down like that, nothing else matters.
Also because it gives you a bit of a sense, for me, it gave me a sense of you have to figure it out alone now.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
You have to. It's time for you to figure it out. So it got me into a different mindset as well. If I'm going to figure it out myself, I'm not going to have, so I still have my dad. He supports me a lot into the pains of life still.
Of course.
But when he goes, I'm going to have to figure it out on my own as well. Even more. Again, exactly. Cause I'm putting that weight a little bit in his back. Cause when we still have parents, we're always going to put a little bit of the weight that we carry from the world into them.
Yeah.
And they're going to help us carry that a little bit.
If we're fortunate
enough, you lose one.
Yeah.
You're going to put a little bit more into the other.
If we're fortunate to have good parents. And by the sounds of it, by the sounds of it, you've got great parents.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
And even it got me closer to my dad.
Of course, yeah. Makes sense.
Of course it's going to do it, yeah. And it, but I had to figure out a lot of the stuff, because my mom and my dad are amazing both, but they're different heads.
Yeah.
There are some subjects that for me and my mom were a little bit more understandable.
Yeah.
Because my mom was a little bit more philosophical and vibesy about the world, and my dad's a little bit more mathematical and
straight to the point.
And when I have a situation that's like giving me an itch on the behind the head, and it's like more of a philosophical question, like, or a more like mystical view of something, I don't have anybody else now like to talk to. Now I have to figure out my mystical thoughts by myself, and that's kind of like scary when it happens.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, I can imagine.
And if I lost my dad first and I still had my mom, it would also be totally scary to deal with the situations where I would share with him, you know, and I wouldn't have anybody to have a second opinion, and the opinion that mattered the most, you know, about that subject.
I think also if I'm true,
that flips a switch.
Yeah, totally. I think if I'm honest with you, and obviously this is the first time we spoke, so I don't really know you at all. But tell me if I'm wrong, but I think how old are you? 23?
23.
23.
Yeah.
So you've lived 23 years with your mum. You know,
21 years.
21 years. You've had 23 years of life with your mum. When those philosophical things come up in your head, I think deep down inside, you know what your mum would say.
Exactly. And even like my own like point of view sometimes will be totally influenced by what she would do.
Totally.
Because she already got like, because our personalities, like my personality is just a bunch of stuff that I absorbed from other people and from the world. There's no like real thing like that makes my person me, you know, like the personality wise.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of her head, a bit of her mind, a bit of her personality, a bit of her alchemy there. So I'm gonna have the similar thought process sometimes about those questions. And from knowing her also, I would totally like imagine what she would think.
Yeah.
By comparison and stuff.
Yeah, it's scary to a point.
That's figuring out on your own a bit.
Exactly, also. But like that's the lucky thing, is that your parents have given you the tools and allowed you to learn the tools to get through life by yourself. And for me, like that's the most perfect childhood. Whether like a child doesn't need anything, like financially, like children don't. Like you don't need anything financially. What you need is love and guidance, right? And I don't want to be a dad person, but I don't want kids. But like I got niece and nephews, like, and I was lucky enough to have a great childhood, and that's the biggest gift I think that a parent can give their kids, is the tools to go and find out who they are as a person, but also give them guidance in everything that they need in life, and also not hold them back. And like in a situation where you're at, it's an awful situation. No one wants that, but she's also set you up to not fail.
Totally.
Which is beautiful. It's pretty amazing.
And like and also like I'm really lucky about having my dad as well, because he's been like one of the building blocks of making everything that happened in the recent months possible, because he's the organization behind like a bit of the stuff.
Really?
Because he's a business like guy. He's an office guy.
Yeah.
I'm not an office guy. Like
no shit.
And and like I'm lucky also to not have had any like shady situations with management like in the early years.
Yeah.
I like all the people that worked with me until today always were like super good and transparent and positive to my project, to its growth and stuff. But like we know stories obviously of shady stuff happening. But like even though I didn't face anything like by luck and by like
Yeah.
whatever, my dad always was like the picky guy, like trying to like fish for every detail and stuff. Like he was always like on the back of stuff, like keeping an eye out, like helping me with a lot of the organization of everything and teaching me concepts about like business, money, and
Yeah.
corporate world and stuff like that. And yeah,
It
super
makes
lucky to have those two.
like, yeah, man, you are. But I think it also, it correlates in where you're at today in your career. And I think from an outsider's point of view, like, I know you've been doing this for a very long time. Like, I do, but a lot of people kind of see the first video that blows up and goes, "Who's the hell is this new DJ on the block?" If you know what I mean. I think from my recollection,
There's this new guy like
exactly, doing this
crazy
weird
moves
shit
at the
stuff with
stage.
his. But like I think you've been releasing since 2017 as Mochak. Is that correct?
As Mochak, yeah. I think it was 27. Let me check. Let's see. And before that, I had a different project called Wicked. It
Yeah.
was like W1CK3D.
Okay.
And the like nobody would read that in the right way. They would call me Vic 3D or like anything but what it was supposed to be. And also the music was kind of shit. The music that I was
Yeah.
making at the time was kind of shit. So when I moved to Mochak, it was because like already I was doing stuff that sounded a little bit better.
Yeah.
And I didn't want like the new guy to come listen to a song and like be,
Yeah.
oh, all right, cool. I like this. Let me listen to the other one. And it's like lame, you know? So I wanted to do like a different project. And it was, I think it was 2017. Yes.
Yeah, I can
And I
relate
did
to
Mochak.
that because I have released some really shit music over the years and I didn't change my
I
name.
like your stuff from back in the day a
Really?
lot.
No.
And the new stuff as well, man.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess like,
2017 was the first one
yeah, see, I did my
as
research.
Mochak.
Did my research, man.
Yeah.
um yeah, my sound's changed a lot, I guess, from what a lot of people kind of knew me as back in the day. But even before then, if you go far back, oh my God, it was so bad. It was so bad.
Like what age? Like not what age, but what year?
2008.
Like I don't think I've listened to
Don't.
that old stuff.
Don't.
I'm gonna check.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
even know if
check.
it's
I love the sound of 2008 and 2009. I wasn't partying or into listening to this music at
yeah.
the time. I was 9 years old or
Yeah,
eight
you were
years old.
young. Yeah.
But after like I in 2018, 19, I discovered like the rabbit hole of 2008,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2009, like the stuff that was happening at the time. And me, Sterium, the guys like from the crew,
Yeah.
we all got like obsessed about it. Like you know, like if you go Sasha Bremer,
Yeah.
the old stuff
Oh
from Sasha
man,
Bremer,
stuff's so
yeah,
good. So good.
the
I
Cube guys, the stuff from back in the day. Like there's also Style of Eye.
yeah. Oh, Style of
We
Eyes
got like
shit,
really,
so good.
yeah,
So
we
good.
got obsessed into that stuff at the time.
What's his name? I forgot his name. He used to release on Dirty Bird originally. Now he does like organic house. I can't remember his name, but his stuff was amazing. My
Tom
first
Flynn.
no, Tom, not Tom Flynn. I had Tom
Tom
Flynn.
Flynn is sick as well.
I had Tom on the podcast, and he did a record called Kitchen. Can you remember that record?
I don't think
Mate,
so.
you
Kitchen.
have to get that record. I'll send it to you. It's
Uh,
like I still play it now sometimes, but it was like completely down your street of like like it would, yeah, you would love it. But
nice.
that was a good time for music. My first release on Spotify is 2011. Fuck me, there's some really bad records. Really bad records.
I bet they're good.
No, really.
And
no.
I like the aesthetic of the sound of the time. Like even like some Brazilian stuff from like 2012 13, 14, even or even a little bit earlier, 2011 as well. Like there's a Victor Ruiz, you know
Yeah.
Victor Ruiz.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a tune from him that I played. I play it till this day. It's called Saint Tropez,
Okay. Yeah.
and I love the tune.
Mm.
For me, it sounds amazing. For me, it sounds amazing in speakers, and it sounds amazing on the PA system at the party as well.
Yeah.
And I went into the studio with him this week, and he was like, "How can you play that? The quality, man, the quality is just totally fucked. The mixing is just fucked." And I'm like, "No, it's perfect the way it is.
That's the thing,
It's
isn't
this
it?
like it sounds like the time, you know, like it
Mm.
sounds 2011
Yeah.
that tune. It brings it back like to there.
It's
It's the same thing. Like if you like think about like the aesthetic of 60s stuff,
yeah.
the microphones weren't as good as they are today, but
No.
it has aesthetic value.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
adds texture and it creates like something around it, you know,
I
like
agree, and it captures the time. It captures what was happening in that time. Sorry, I've got to correct myself. I didn't have Tom Flynn on the podcast. I had Tim Green on the podcast, and
uh-huh.
Tim Green has a record called Kitchen. I'll send it to you.
Send it to me, send it to me.
But the guy that sorry, I'm playing something because I had to find it. Is the guy that I was on about was Sebastian Leger or Sebastian Ledger.
Oh yeah.
Mate,
Yeah.
he has a record.
Amazing.
I think he has a record called The Wasp on Dirty Bird, like 2008 era, and mate, it's
Really?
unbelievable. I need to find it,
Sebastian Ledger and Dirty Bird. I didn't know that happened.
dude. Dirty Bird,
Wow.
like early Dirty Bird. What's it called? The Wasp. I can't, I'm gonna have to go onto his profile. Sorry for anybody that's like actually listening to this because you're just gonna get bored by us just talking about fucking bees. It's called Bees, 2011.
Bees.
I'm gonna just text it to
You
you now.
save that for later. Yeah.
I just
I
texted.
found it, I think.
You got it,
Yeah, I found it.
dude.
Oh, look at the cover. The cover is so sick.
It's sick, right?
So sick.
Dirty Bird always did amazing covers. Always.
And the cover is so back in the day, you
yeah,
know, like
no fucks given. Just like, oh, it's called Bees. Let's put a fucking bee on there.
no, yeah, the colors like the like really bright,
Yeah.
like orange color, you know, like it's stuff that worked a lot at the time. If you would see like every cover at the time had like these like colors, you know, like
yeah, I went to like a DJ school when I was 11, 12, and we were taught about like promoing, like you record your mix CD, your demo CD to then go give out to clubs, and we were taught like about the artwork to put on it and to like make your own artwork, and like we were just making the most obscene artworks just to like just to give it to people, and so people would never forget. And there's a famous story from Claude Von Stroke about Kill Frenzy. Do you know Kill Frenzy? So,
yeah.
So Kill Frenzy wanted to sign to Dirty Bird, and Barclay would never listen to his music. He wouldn't ever sign his music. So Kill Frenzy, to get his attention, just started sending him like pictures of tits on emails, and like would make the titles of his records like the most obscene sexual kind of titles, and like and it got him signed, and he's for me one of the best artists out of Dirty Bird ever. But yeah, you just got to do what you got to do, man.
Totally.
So I want to like go through from 2017 to where we're at today. Obviously, we've spoken a lot about kind of what happened in your family, but it's like there's a lot of in between, right, that people don't know. And from the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic, what happened? Because it just went from 0 to 100 in very quickly.
Yes.
So like I'd like very to quickly. I want to know how it happened, and then I want to talk about like the feelings behind that, and then also the pressures behind that, and then we can talk about now. So how did it fucking happen?
How did it happen? I started working with Nadai, my video maker,
Mm.
one of the media guys that I work with, both for Nadai and Masa. They do all the photos and videos for everything.
And do they travel with you
I started
everywhere?
working.
Sorry to butt in, but do they travel with you everywhere?
Not everywhere. Internationally, still, I cannot take them to every gig.
Yeah.
Because the costs are still high, like from logistics and stuff. I'm still not able to take everybody on every tour and every occasion.
Totally.
Sometimes when it's like a special thing that I want to live with the boys, then I'll take them, like all of them with me. Like for example, Coachella, we're all going together. I'm not gonna leave anybody out of this. Let's go and like
let's go
do it. And but I usually like alternate between Nadai goes into a tour, the next one Masa goes into the tour, you know. So we do this alternates between it. But in Brazil, we roll with the full team, because in Brazil, the logistics usually are paid by the promoter. So they will pay for my flights, they will pay for the hotel. And abroad, it's not like that. You pay for everything. Basically, when you're touring. And I started working with Nadai, which is one of the guys, back in September, I think, of 2021. September of 2021. Like, it was right when events were liberated again. Liberated. Where we could, right when we were allowed when we could do events again. Yeah, we were allowed to have events again. And one of the first events that appeared for me, I was already a friend of him. Like, I met him because of the scene. He was already a video maker for other DJs from Brazil, and we became friends in parties and blah blah blah. But we never worked together. And he was like, "Yo, I'm going on the next one. I don't give a fuck. I'm just going, and we're gonna do it together." I'm like, "All right, let's go. Let's do it." And we went together, and he had this idea about doing like a sum up of the show, like of the set. So because there were like moments where the set would go like really wild, and moments of chill and trip in between, whatever. And we would do like a highlight reel of the night, basically. Just us arriving at the venue, like goofing around for a little bit, and meeting the other DJ friends. And then we would do like a 15 to 25 minute video that would sum up a 1 hour and a half set, you know, like with the best drops and the best moments, the best mixes sometimes. And it was all recorded in horizontal format. And it was supposed to be a YouTube content, because we were trying to do new YouTube content. This is like the full story, by the way. Like,
no, I want it. I want the full story. I'm
gonna go with the full one. And the thing is, for those videos, he would go around the party and do multiple angles, just so we had variety. And one of the angles was like from the crowd, because it would give like the viewer the point of view of somebody who's in the crowd watching it and listening to it. And that was the thing that triggered the videos that blew up. But the thing is, we started doing it as a YouTube long 25-minute content, like not something that to be consumed on the phone, like quickly, like, because I'm a fan of long content. I like
me too.
Documentaries. I like long stuff. I like albums. I like
same.
Yeah.
Dude, we're having a conversation.
Doing fucking radio edits about stuff, you know.
I'm the same. Like, we're having a conversation for over an hour. Like, I like long things, make people listen, concentrate.
So it was supposed to be like a long format of content, and it had that thing about the angle from the crowd, like from the front, and he always likes to follow the movements that I do with the camera, because like he also used to dance. He was also a hip-hop dancer,
so he gets it.
So there is this thing in battles also about like if I'm gonna improvise now. It's my turn. I'm going in.
Yeah.
If I do something predictable and you figure it out, if you do the same thing, everybody's gonna be like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
you're out. You're done." Predictable,
Yeah.
predictable. So he always like follows the moves that I do with the camera, with the zoom outs, with the movement and stuff. And that created like a really cool aesthetic of videos,
Yeah.
like something from the crowd and that follows that, emphasizes a bit of the movement, emphasizes the message about like showing you the little elements that you sometimes don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Cool video for YouTube.
Yeah.
25 minutes long. Then we went to Rio for a week. No. This was we started doing this in September, right?
Yeah.
So we did it in September. We did it in October. We did it in November, in like 4 gigs, I think. And then in November, it was a gig at L14, which is a club in the south of Brazil, close to Florianopolis.
Yeah.
And I played a gig there. It was super, super sick. It was like a lineup with me, Victor Lou, Visage, Stereum, Breaking Beats, like all the buddies.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just such a sick night. And I played like in the morning after Breaking Beats. I was the closing act, like in Brazil. It's usually like, because abroad, because you have the curfews and stuff,
Yeah.
the headliner usually plays the closing set.
Totally.
But in Brazil, the closing is just like Zombieland.
Yeah.
You know? And it wasn't Zombieland this time. The crowd like was really responsive. It was like a really good reaction. The videos got really good, and we posted like a carousel of those videos on Instagram, like saying, "Yo, we just posted the new sum up from the last show, like in November here in L14.
Yeah,
this was like 1 week after the show, whatever. The full sum up is on YouTube, and here's a little carousel of some of the best moments, blah, blah, blah." And that post performed really well.
Yeah.
Like better than previous posts,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
nothing too crazy. It was like if a good post back in the day would give me like 150 comments, this one gave me like 215.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like a little bit better than the other ones.
Yeah, yeah.
It got a little bit more buzz.
Yeah.
And then kept doing it for like the months to come.
Yeah.
Went to December, did a couple of sum ups in December, January. And in January we went for a week to Rio because we had a gig on Friday.
Yeah.
And a gig on the other Friday. So we just stayed in Rio for the full week to meet some friends from Rio and like goof around and go to beaches and whatever. And during that week, John Summit did a tweet. He tweeted like, if you're an upcoming act and you're not using TikTok, you could be wasting an opportunity because the algorithm is completely crazy and you can sometimes go viral without having a previous following.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm gonna grab one of the videos that we posted on Instagram and like test it out.
Yeah.
I had an account created because like when TikTok appeared in Brazil, I was like, all right, I'm gonna download it to check it out. Downloaded it, hated it, deleted it, like, and downloaded it again to do this, to post this thing and try to check if something happened. I posted the first video. I had like 180 followers on TikTok and I went to lunch. When I got back from lunch, the video had like 300,000 views.
Jesus.
Like I was like, I started calling like my agents and stuff like, guys, something's happening here. Like, I don't know. Like, I think this is going kind of viral. And they were like, yeah, this is really good. Really nice. Really nice. Okay. Like 2 hours later, 600,000 views. Like,
wow.
The next morning, 1 million views.
Wow.
And then they were like, oh, this is kind of big.
Yeah.
Also because I was looking into the comment section and there were comments from like other countries as well. It was not only a Brazil thing. And I was like, what should we do anything about it? And people were saying like, yo, come play in whatever, come play in my country, come play in New York, come play in India, come play in Italy, come play in blah blah blah, like multiple countries commenting. Like now the video is at 11 million views, I think, on TikTok. It's crazy. Yeah, crazy. And like when we started getting those comments, I remember the situation, a funny situation that happened in Brazil, where like I used to do a lot of gigs in Curitiba before the pandemic.
I've played there before.
Curitiba is amazing. It's one of the best crowds in Brazil. They're really responsive and they're really open to new sounds and stuff. It's super sick. I love playing there. And I used to play there a lot before the pandemic hit. And when we got back to partying after the quarantine, I took a little bit of time to get back into Curitiba. Like I was the first parties that were appearing was more like in the north of the country, in the northeast, in the middle there. And I got a DM of a guy saying like, yo, why the fuck don't you come to Curitiba anymore? Don't you like Curitiba? Like if you don't have like, if you don't fuck with us, just tell us, like something like that. Like I was like angry about me, and I was like, bro, I need somebody to book me. Like, can I just like go to a random party, like kick the DJ out of the booth and say like, yo guys, I'm gonna play today.
Yeah.
You know, like it just doesn't work that way.
No.
And I remembered that, and I was like, all right, these people are asking for me to play in their countries, but most of them probably don't know how booking works.
Yeah.
I need to contact the agency and say like, be like, if you have somebody to check the emails or like try to get in contact with bookers from those countries. Try to maybe try to get a gig in some of those places. Thing is, I did a video on the same week in Rio, like 2 days after, I think. And it was me on the like in the room saying like, yo, if you've seen this video, probably like because it went kind of viral like on the last few days actually. And you probably like, if you're one of the people that are telling me to go to your country, you travel to your country to play there, I need to explain to you how booking works. Usually the lineups, the parties are done by local people, local promoters, and they like pick the lineups for the people that they want to see in the parties. If they don't know about me, because they probably don't, because I'm a kid from Brazil that just went viral on social media, basically. So they're not going to know who the fuck I am. The only way for them, like for me to be in your country, is if they get to know about me. So if you show the stuff, or if you ask them for like, that's how booking works. Like if you want to see an artist that you like, for example, if I really, really want to see my obscure artist that I found from Canada and I want to see him perform in Coachella because they deserve it and they're really good and they're really talented. If you like comment and more people comment in Coachella's posts about that artist, they're going to pay attention to it, or at least check it out. And that started happening. Like the video worked and people started like sending offers and sending like emails to the agency. And we started getting offers like from agencies also to work with us, and for management, like proposals and everything. So it just kind of started
from that
organizing itself like in a quick period of time. Because after that first post, all of the posts were like almost going crazy, like 700,000 views in 2 days, or
that's wild,
1 million views in 3 days. Then like we did one once where we got to like, I don't know, like 500,000 views in 1 day. Like bananas. And it sits now on Instagram, it sits at 5 million. It was the second video that went the most viral, which is me playing the Classmatic track, Kajuka. And we started posting the same style of content on Instagram because that was on TikTok. The boom was on TikTok. I went from like, oh, that was crazy as well, because I went from 180 followers to like 300,000 followers in like 2 months.
That's wild.
Like, out of nowhere on TikTok without having any previous following, just because the video went viral.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere.
And you have
Like, it's that crazy.
and
The
you never
algorithm
know.
is that crazy.
You never know if it's gonna go viral.
We didn't know it because it
Yeah.
didn't. We already posted that video on Instagram.
Yeah.
It didn't go viral.
Yeah.
It performed well, but it didn't go viral. We posted it somewhere else. Boom.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Like it's just about like how the algorithm works and how the aesthetic of content for that platform by mystery of the gods worked with my style of video.
Yeah.
With the style of video from the crowd, with the movement and the stuff. Like it's a short video. We didn't think about any of that.
Well, this is sorry to butt in, but this is what I love about it and this is what I was going to say is it's really authentic. It's authentically you. So it's like you don't have to think about. No, exactly, which is the best way to make content is by being you. Like that I could try and be you.
And I think it's the only way that actually like really rewards you, like for real, like in a big way. Cause like if you're doing something like trying to force it to happen, it just doesn't seem to align in the same way, like in the same harmonic way. I don't know.
Totally.
Like,
well, it's just it's you, like if you were to try and to emulate somebody else, another artist, it wouldn't feel right, which means that you wouldn't put your full heart into it, which means that
also if I stayed there like a clown, like the whole show trying to, it's not like that. I don't do that. Even I'm getting comments like from people that are upset about their going to the shows and they're like, but he's not like moving all the time. I'm like, of course I'm not moving all the time. I have to DJ. I'm like, when I did a mix, I already mixed it in. I already took the other track out. If there's a moment where I'm gonna leave one channel playing for 1 minute and not do anything to the music and just let it play for a bit, I'm gonna enjoy it for sure.
Exactly.
I'm gonna enjoy it while I'm and that's when it happens, or when the crowd goes crazy, I'm also gonna go like crazy with it because I'm happy. But like people are starting to think like because of and I think also that comes from the fast content
100%
thing.
Yeah.
Like the dopamine thing about like releasing dopamine quick and again and again and again and again. Mm-hmm. And if you like get a dopamine moment in the set and you don't get one in the next 20 seconds, it bothers you. Like it's not supposed to be like that.
Well, I like, tell me if I'm wrong. I want to keep going on to the story, but just a side thing, like the way parties in Brazil happen is they go on for a much longer time than they do in America. The same in Europe, they go on for a much longer time than they do in America. So everything's not about the drop, and it's not about the big moment. It's not about, you don't have to play for the whole set like balls to the walls bangers. It's like it sounds cliche as fuck, but it's like you take the crowd on a journey and you have your ups and downs and peaks and troughs, which you don't get. You have
options, actually.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have options.
Yeah.
Because like if you're shrinked down to like a 1 hour set in a party that's going to last for like 5 hours and everybody's going to play like bangers, like only like big stuff, you're kind of stuck. Like if you play stuff that's going to sound like less energetic in that context, you can like kind of
screw it.
Like, kind of like take the energy level down on the crowd. Yeah. And if the party is longer, if your set's longer, then you have options. You can like have a moment for them to chill, and for like you can build contrast. Yeah. That's going to make a big moment again. That's why we have like a lot of screaming also. Like because in Brazil, I see that when drops and big moments happen, it takes the crowd on a big reaction. Yeah. And then they progressively go down and just keep dancing.
Just a vibe. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And then another big moment comes in after like maybe 1 or 2 tracks, or 3 tracks. Another big moment happens and they go crazy again for like 40 seconds and they go down again. You know, that's like the way it happens usually.
Totally.
Like,
no, I like it.
It's a different dynamic. It took me a while to adapt to playing in the US.
It's very different here. It's very different.
Yeah, it's very different.
The thing is, I think you got to think they have the EDM culture that we didn't really have in any other countries so much. EDM was born in America pretty much, and most countries just kind of had a very short moment of EDM, and then it just went back to how it was originally. But a lot of the promoters, a lot of the festival bookers, a lot of the goers of the festivals, of the clubs, all grew up with EDM, which is all about the drops. Anyway, I want to go back to the story. So TikTok blew up, and now it's Instagram.
Yeah, and then we took the content to Instagram, but not in the same format that we. This is going to be very, very ironic. Look at this. As I was saying, we posted it on Instagram first.
Yeah.
Roughly in November.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the time where we did the post on Instagram. Here, it was a carousel.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it got a lot more comments because people were migrating from TikTok to here. But yeah, we posted it in December actually.
Okay.
And then TikTok was in January.
Mm-hmm.
Later, 1 month later than this post, roughly. This was a carousel post. It didn't go viral.
Yeah.
We posted TikTok, which is like the vertical Reels type of format. It went viral.
Yeah.
We went back into Instagram. We started posting Reels.
Yeah.
And the Reels started to go viral.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram grew bigger than my TikTok was.
Really?
Now, yeah. TikTok sits at, I think, 700,000 followers, but Instagram is at 1 million already.
It's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. So when we got back to Instagram and started posting it in Reels, it got crazy on the Reels. And now the carousel posts are getting crazier than the Reels.
Really?
Yeah. Look, a recent Reel post.
That's really interesting.
We get like, this one went kind of crazy, but let's get like a recent one that like this one. This has 180 comments.
Yeah.
This was the last carousel we posted. It has 1,997. It's going much crazier than the Reels now.
It's bananas.
These platforms are just like two bananas.
So inconsistent. For me, like it's the same.
They always have a clown in the hat, a rabbit in the hat.
Literally, just like telling you. Like I posted a video the other day of me at a photo shoot, and like for me it did reasonably well. And then like you'll post a video of something else, and you're like, well, that absolutely fucking bombed. Like what's like I might as well just delete it and post it again in a couple of hours because it might do something better. But it's like it's just you just never know. Never know.
You never know.
Do you stress about that?
Not much, because I like
it got so big.
That's no, not at all. No. It's just because like why I try to take each, like there are DJs that just take video makers to specific gigs. Like I'm gonna play an important gig. I'm gonna get a guy to like go with me on this gig.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's even better for you to have like just a friend or your like cousin with a camera, but take him into every gig.
Yeah.
And like maybe make him develop into a video maker.
Totally.
For real. Because like if you have them into every occasion, for me, like I never know when a crazy moment will happen.
Yeah.
On the set. I don't play the same set everywhere.
Yeah.
So I never know, like there's some, like there could be a day that I played a track that I never played from my selection, and it goes completely crazy.
Yeah.
If nobody's there to register that moment, I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
And like that's why I take the guys into almost every trip, like at least one of them with me, so I can like make sure if something crazy happens, I might have a video of it.
Yeah.
Like, and why I don't stress about that is because we had the big video, the big first one. And then we did some others that were not as big, but they were performing well and doing really good numbers. And then we did another big one out of nowhere that we couldn't predict again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then the others here. And then we did another one out of nowhere
that
we couldn't predict again with a different tune. Like, because you don't know when it's gonna go viral. Because you can play 4 sets, and each one of them had a track that blew up really big on a set. And you can get those 4 videos. Like, one of them is gonna just have something different about it.
Yep.
Sometimes they're all good videos about a good crowd reaction, but that's not all. Like, there's a random aspect of it that you never know, and it just happens.
Yeah.
You know, like the Katuka video, the crowd reaction was not even like one of the craziest ones we had like around the globe on that day.
Yeah.
It was not even like the club wasn't fully packed.
Yeah.
It was like a weekday that was kind of like not a good day for selling tickets or whatever. In the end of the summer, it was not like a crazy situation of a crowd reaction, like some stuff that I seen around. But that video blew up way crazier than most of them. It was the second video that blew up the most. You just never know. Like, sometimes you just film something and it works.
It's amazing what TikTok's done to the industry and how it's kind of changed the industry. I've spoken to like multiple people on the podcast, and I know multiple friends that it's just not even just in music, but like in life. It's just like they've posted something and it's just fucking gone. And you're like, that you can't replicate that. But what it can do for your life and your career is absolutely amazing. And you can't.
It's crazy.
And you could have told me, Will, do exactly the same thing as what I'm doing, and I could post it and it won't do it. And I could have done exactly the same thing as you before you, and it wouldn't have gone. And it just happened on that day. You posted it. You have the great content that looks very authentic to you, and the algorithm just takes it and it goes.
And
it's like beautiful.
What I think came from that afterwards was like the following the scheme of things was, after we got like the management opportunities and everything, we started to get in contact and organize ourselves to really put like some of the vision that I had of this aesthetics that I always wanted to do with the project that I couldn't do because I didn't have like the platform. I didn't have the money to do it as well. Like, I could now I have like a load of projects and stuff that I'm working on that I can work on. Like, and that's like the coolest thing like that came out of like the whole thing. Like, for me, is being able to do projects. You know, like do cool stuff like that I wanted to do. Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, it's so nice to see events, as well. Yeah.
Like, do whatever. Like,
well, I think I think also is like you're in a situation where it's not just music that you have the opportunity to do in a situation where you're at. You are like, you have as many followers as a lot of people that are extremely famous and that have extreme influence in the world. You can do amazing shit with that. Like, you can change, you can change the world.
A lot of lives. Yeah, exactly. That's what, like,
and I think that's an amazing opportunity to be in, right? Is that your influence can influence so many things in a positive way. In a negative way, if you're a dickhead and you wanted to do that, yes. However, but like in a positive way, you can do a lot of really good stuff. And I think it's very easy to, like, from an outsider's point of view, going, oh, cool, he's going to be making a shit ton of money and he's going to be doing his thing. But like on a deeper level, which I believe in the time that we've been speaking, I feel like you are that type of person. On a deeper level, you can just give so much more to the world.
That's something like the video that blew up. I was playing a Pasa tune. And when I met Pasa, like when we talked for the first time, we talked through social media. And we chatted about like what happened, because it was crazy. Like, the track went top one of Beatport, like for the genre for like multiple weeks again. It was crazy. Like, it just went bananas. and we were chatting about it, like talking about the stuff and I told him about some of the hate that I was getting because of the movements and stuff, and people like that were thinking that I was pretending that I was playing. Oh, I can see a headphone. I bet he's not mixing. I bet he's faking it. He's just pressing play on a pre-recorded set and dancing, doing moves because that's what sells these days, and blah blah blah. That all that stuff. And Paulson was like, you shouldn't totally dismiss that.
Yeah.
You should try to like internalize that in a way that it makes it positive for you. Like, whether is it to make you a little bit more self-conscious, but not in a bad way, like to make yourself better and like
grow from
do
it.
more. And yeah. Or also like, because sometimes people will say something and sometimes they'll be right about it.
Yeah.
And you should have like humbleness to be able to take a few steps back and look at it and like ponder and do something about it. And what he said was also to use this opportunity to create a bigger platform. He told me like, don't sign to a major label, create your own platform, like give opportunity to other people and like just give it to the culture. And it's what I wanted to do from day one.
Yeah.
So like that's it. That's what I said about like doing projects. I can now like focus myself into like creating, whether it's a label party that I'm gonna like put the artists that I believe in,
Totally.
the stuff that I think people should listen to, that is hidden sometimes in Brazil, artists that are not like in the spotlight and that are doing excellent job, you know, like try to give opportunity for those to shine. Also to make like school projects. Like I always wanted to do like a TEDx type of talk thing, talking production, talking music, talking DJing with the kids, like even more in Brazil, because we still have a country with a very difficult situation for a big part of the population, and
of course
we know that leads to more violence, more crime, and like if people have access to something that they think is cool, and that can like make them earn a living without having to choose the other way, that's amazing. And that creates like, that feeds also the culture. Like
I think it also gives people
passed on.
I think it gives people especially in Brazil, it's like that you're their own. You've gotten out, you've cracked it, and it shows people opportunity that they can also do that. And that's what a lot of people need to a certain extent. People need that because it's very easy to look on the internet and see a non-Brazilian person being successful, because then it's like, well, yeah, of course, I didn't grow up in Brazil. But if a little kid sees your videos and he's like, whoa, he's from Brazil, like, I can do that, which is beautiful.
And also like something that I think like it's beautiful to see is the networking that I got to experience this year has given me the opportunity to also like send a lot of the stuff, like connect more people, like more artists. Like for example, there's a guy from Brazil called James C. James, like Jame, space C, and kids like he just turned 17 or 18, I think.
No way.
I know him since he was 16. He was sending me demos on SoundCloud. And it was sounding amazing already when he was 16. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like just we became big friends, and he's my buddy. And he did a remix recently of a Herbie Hancock tune. And I finished the set in the Torch with the Martinez Brothers with that tune, because I wanted to show Chris and Stevie that tune from him, and he was there because he's doing an exchange program in the US. So James C was there, so he met the guys, and now they're talking also. Like
it's amazing.
He's probably gonna release something soon, like
on Cutting Heads.
I don't know, like probably it has a chance now, like because he got in contact with those people, and like making that link is something it just gives me a lot of pleasure to be being to be a part of like that process, you know.
It's just an amazing feeling to be able to help people grow in the culture and also keep the culture going. It's not all about you, and it's not all about what Mochak wants to do and make all the money for
It's never
Mochak.
gonna be always
Right.
about me.
No,
Like
because
even
there's a time when you
yeah,
can't do what you're doing, or when a time when you change your mind in what you want to do. But it's like if you give as much opportunity in a really authentic way, which is not benefiting you, like helping other people benefits you mentally anyway. Like it does, and that's
scientifically it does.
yeah, and I think it's a greater meaning of life to have people around you that you really care for, and you can give them an opportunity that they wouldn't have had before. It's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful, like to see it unfold and like to see fruits coming from it afterwards.
Yeah.
Like it makes you proud also, like from that person. Like you see that person, you see that they're doing a good work. They like deserve opportunity, and that they deserve to be seen because they're doing something brilliant. And when you see like it unfolding, like you see other people
Yeah.
like understanding their work as something beautiful as well, and like consuming it as well,
Mm.
that just makes me like proud and happy,
Yeah.
like
I love that.
also because I love music, like not electronic music. I like good music
Yeah.
from any genre, any everything. I think there's good music and bad music everywhere in every
Mm-hmm.
genre.
Yeah.
Like everything that you will listen to, there will be good music and there will be bad music.
Yeah.
And I just love good music. I want more people to listen to more good music.
Yeah.
And when I see good music going forward, good music that wasn't being listened to going forward, it just brings me joy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
No,
like
I totally agree. And this,
I feel like I'm gonna be able to share more
you
like
are,
about this stuff.
you
Yeah,
are,
yeah, exactly.
you are. You've got a platform now that we all can. But the amazing thing of the situation you're in is you have a fuck ton of people that are listening, and that's the most beautiful thing. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
and sharing the sense also of like, for example, if there's a tune that I really love and that has 2,000 plays on that I found like on the radio of a random track on
Yeah.
Spotify, and I just fell in love with the tune, and I show it to people during a set, or and it's like a video happens or something happens, it just creates such an interesting moment for me, like to be able to enjoy a tune that I really liked,
Yeah.
that no one knows, with other people.
Yeah.
Now someone else knows.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can like listen to it together and think it's a fucking banger together, you
Yeah.
know? Like for
No, it's so
example, the
good.
moment one of the highlights from that perspective of things was the doing your thing
Yeah.
video. I don't know if you saw that.
I probably
Where
have, but I can't remember it. Yeah.
it's you know Oliver S.
Yeah.
Oliver Dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Oliver S. Oliver Dollar. Oliver
Yeah.
S.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Oliver Dollar. He has this tune called "Doing Your Thing," which is Moody Man's
Yeah.
vocals.
Samples Moody Man.
The
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I played this tune like in a lot of sets. I really love the tune, especially when it's like a day occasion,
Yeah.
like a sunset
It's a
type
vibe.
of
It's a
party. It's
vibey record.
funky,
Yeah. Yeah.
funky, vibey
Yeah. Yeah.
record. Beautiful piano melodies
Yeah.
and stuff, the chords and blah blah blah. So I played this a couple of times. I had videos of it playing that tune already. And there's a part on the vocal where Moody Man says, I need somebody to give me a CD or a vinyl or some talent from right here. Fuck the
Yeah.
rest of the world. Fuck these motherfuckers. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was playing in Argentina, and because of that, like for example, that tune, it's quite like not old tune. It's from 2014, I think.
Yeah. It's
But
pretty old.
there's a lot of people from like young people that are going to parties, or that got into going to electronic music parties like in 2 years ago. They're not going to know that tune.
No.
And
Not
if
at
I
all.
play that, I'm not going to get a reaction from someone who doesn't know that tune yet,
Yeah.
or like on the first time sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
afterwards, they get to know it like sometimes, and they start enjoying it, or sometimes even like because it's a really good record, it
It's
will
great.
give a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
reaction right on the first one. But what I'm saying is, after I posted a couple of videos of that, this really young girl comes into the front row while I'm playing it, hops into the shoulder of her friend, goes like almost into the booth, hands out a freaking CD,
No
gives it
way.
to me, like singing the tune. Like
That's so good.
it was one of the craziest moments. I
Yeah.
was like singing the tune and singing, like mimicking the vocals and whatever, having like fun with the people that already knew the vocals.
Yeah.
He just hops in, grabs a CD, hands it to me. I was like looking at the sides, like I can't believe this is happening. Like, really, it was super super crazy.
Did you play the
Like
CD?
nah, it didn't have anything on
Oh,
it.
it
It
didn't
was
have
just like
anything
a
on it, just a blank
prop
CD.
CD.
That's so
Yeah,
good.
it was an old CD, probably
Yeah.
scratched, and she
Yeah.
wrote like some stuff on the CD.
So
Like,
good.
but it was just a fun, jokey moment, like
Yeah.
to have, and like that was something that I got like I was able to do because of like the reach of the videos,
Yeah.
probably. Like
100%.
living that moment. And
Yeah.
it's just fun as fuck.
Yeah. Man, I
You
bet.
know?
I bet. I
And
can't.
that was something, for example, if I didn't take the video makers to that gig, I wouldn't have a video of that.
No.
And that was a crazy ass moment. How can
Yeah.
you predict that? How can you predict somebody's gonna hand out a CD because they
Mm,
heard the tune that talks about it and thought about like, when he plays that tune, I'm gonna hand out the CD. Like
yeah.
it's too crazy of a moment. You have to have somebody filming it. Like
Well,
you never know when it's.
I also think your video guys are really fucking good. Like
They're dope.
there's a lot of video guys out there, and this is no disrespect to them, but like your video guys are very fucking good compared to compared to a lot of them, and it goes back to that like being creative yourself, as of being a creative videographer, being a creative photographer.
Try to have ideas,
like
and even like sometimes it works as a happy accident.
exactly.
This was also a happy accident
Yeah.
because the idea that he had on the like that Nadai had on the first time was to make a 25-minute sum up of different angles.
Yeah.
It was not even like just that thing that worked out and just happened.
Yeah.
You know, it was something else, and as a happy accident, as a consequence, like
it's great.
you have to try to be creative and like get out of the comfort zone and like try to think different from what the people are doing. As cliche as it might sound, it's about that. Like that's stuff that breaks a bubble.
But that's also the same with music. It's the same with art. It's the same with fashion. It's the same with everything. This is kind of, I harp on about this so often on this podcast, and just to like new people. And it's like, don't copy people. Don't copy them.
Don't do it.
Like, stop, because it's not gonna get you anywhere.
Even more, it's gonna fuck up the environment a bit, because
if you copy
somebody in a genetic way, but why did I say it like with this accent? In a genetic way.
In a German
way. If you copy somebody in a generic way, and a lot of people start copying everybody in a generic way, it saturates that sound.
Yeah.
It will make people not want to listen to that quite often.
Well, it's done that already, right? It's slowly doing that in certain genres. And
yeah, it happens all the time, actually.
Yeah.
The only way for it to stop happening is if people stop copying people.
But I think what people do by copying is they're trying to get the success rather than actually do it for the authenticity of wanting to be the artist.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying. Like, if you try to force it, it doesn't come.
No.
If you do it, like, just do it because of the likes, your likes about it, then it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, even if what you're doing is sounds nothing like what's popping on the radio nowadays, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
You can experiment by mixing two blah blah blahs together and creating something that, who knows if it's not going to be like the hottest thing in the world next year.
Yeah,
we don't know.
No, you don't. And I think with the internet now is that something can pop off very strangely. Like for me, like
even something challenging as fuck, like something that sounds completely challenging to whatever's popping at the moment, because of the reach of the internet, it can
pop.
get that proportion easily.
It happened with me with my record Rock With Me. Like I released it. I made that record in like 30 minutes. It was like Patrick asked me to write another EP that was similar to the EP before that I released on Drake. I was like, okay, cool. So I literally wrote that record in 30 minutes, sent it to him like 2 weeks later because I didn't want him to think I literally just like threw it together, which I did. They put it out. I thought it was probably going to do like 150,000 streams. It did about that. 4 months later, 3 months later, like it's dead. Like no one's listening to this record. A few people are playing it, nothing. It then gets put number 1 on Techno Bunker, and now it's at like 7 million streams. And it's like, and you're just like, we could never have guessed that. We did nothing to keep that going. We were not trying to push that record. We had given up on that record. It was gone. Now it's like one of the biggest records in my sets, and you're like, and everyone plays it, and you're like, I couldn't.
You know something funny?
What's that?
Have you noticed everybody's listening to Sticky Fingers album again?
Yeah.
The one that blew up already a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then like, all right, fans were still listening to it, but it was not like something present in everybody's daily playlist anymore. And now it just out of nowhere, it just got back into being like a favorite from everybody, and everybody's listening to Sticky Fingers again. Like it's crazy. You never predict it. Internet's just works in its own way. It's
like Kate Bush with Netflix, with Stranger Things, like the Running Up a Hill, like that. She didn't ever get a number 1 in her whole career, and then it gets put on a show, and then it turns to number 1. Like 20, 30 years after it came out.
There's a guy from Brazil called Arthur Verkai.
Okay.
Who was like a composer and an arranger. And he used to do arrangements for musicians at the studio at the time, and at a record label. And one day he went to the guys and said, yo, can I do my own album here? Like just to check it out. If you guys like it, we can release it under the label or whatever. They're like, yeah, go ahead. And he did an album called Arthur Verkai.
Yeah.
It's self-titled. And it's just like the guys were like, yo, this is kind of like too crazy of a sound for us. Like, I think that you're kind of too, I don't know if this is going to sell. We're not going to put any money into promoting it. You can put it to sell in the stores, but we're not going to promote or put any post money into it. We don't think it has a single or whatever. Old story, right?
Classic.
So he released it. It stood in shelves for years and years and years and years. This was in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then one day he got a call because Ja Rule wanted to sample one of the tunes.
Yeah.
And he just let him sample the tune. The tune just went bonkers.
Yeah.
And like everybody started sampling that album. And now he makes arrangement. And now he makes arrangement for hip hop artists and beat makers doing like strings.
Crazy
and
shit.
Yeah. Like doing orchestral stuff for them.
You just have to be doing it.
He could never predict it.
No,
never.
Never.
And he did that album because he loved it.
Yeah.
The way he did it was the way he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Regardless of market or whatever, blah blah blah. And for some people, it happens in a month.
Yeah.
For some people, it takes 25 years or whatever. But it can happen. Like it's random. You can never predict it.
No.
But it can happen. Just do it. Just do it.
That is the
like
case. It is just fucking just do what. It's very easy to say from two people that have a career in it, but it is just do it, and it will eventually happen when the time's right. Somebody will be like, "Go on, then have a go," and it does it.
But we have a career today. We didn't start with a career. Also,
no, exactly.
I bet when you started out, like you didn't have a career still, and you had to like do it.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Because you liked it.
And it's still
and stuff will come from it.
And we're both in the same situation where it's like we're fortunate enough that we have a career, but it's still not where we both want it. It's like still a long way from where we want it. And I can only say that for myself, but I'm pretty sure it's the same for you. And it's the same for a lot of our friends and peers in the industry. It's like, it's how do we grow from where we're at? And that is the situation, is that it takes time and it takes a lot of work.
Takes ideas, takes brainstorms, takes a lot of stuff, takes processes, takes you getting maybe down again about something 100%. Else to make another shift of thought. And like, you know, sometimes it takes a lot of music to get into the other music, as you said. Like,
yeah, man, I love it, dude. We just
have to keep doing it because we like to do it.
Exactly. We've just done an hour and 40 minutes. I think we could probably keep talking for another 4 hours, but I think we should wrap it up because I think people will get bored.
Sure.
Mate, I'm really happy for you. Like, genuinely really happy for you, and like, keep it up. It's really nice to see what you've done. Just keep it up, and like, just keep that head strong and keep going, man. Keep going.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for
coming. I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of your stuff, and it's such a crazy opportunity to be able to have like a deep talk with you, like, and like so many cool subjects, and can't wait to see you in person.
Likewise,
bro. We gotta do something.
Likewise.
when I go there.
Yeah, likewise. When we're in the same city, let's for sure. And you're like, if you've ever got anything coming out, want to talk about it, you're more than welcome to come on here whenever you want.
For sure.
But yeah, keep in touch, and thank you so much, man. Big love. Keep safe.
Thank you, man.
Peace.
Thank you. You too.
Love that one. It's really good. Thanks so much to Mochakk for coming on. Hope you all enjoyed it. Share it. Subscribe. Keep safe. See you next time.